has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
And we are back. Ferrall, coast to coast, hour number 2 here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Big hour number 2. We'll keep Golf Wednesday going with Cam in a little bit. We'll move over to the PGA and the Byron Nelson. We've got Coach Young with the Lion's Share. Davis Maddock will be here as well. A very, very busy Wednesday show. There you go, Joe. So you got the catalytic breakdown there from Dave for this Saturday.
Feel good.
I didn't realize he got squashed. He got completely squashed by the favorite his last time out.
That's great.
Squashed.
That's great. Perfect. You know what? Nobody's going to be on him. That's exactly what I want. He's first of all, he's got great position coming out of the 5-hole. So Jose Ortiz, great jockey, catalytic. I'm telling you, he's live. I'm telling you, he's live.
I'll tell you, he sold me on the 11, the Japanese horse that's never lost a race. So I'm going to go with that. That's an add to the card. Everybody's going to be on that. That's no good for you. Everybody's going to be on that.
It's like a boxer.
Oh,
we put him up with cream puffs, and now all of a sudden the cream rises to the top. He faces Clubber Lang.
He's won races all over the world, Joe. All over the world he's won races.
Cans. He's racing donkeys. That horse doesn't know adversity. Give me Catalytic, the horse that gets blown out by 13 lengths. Now he could step up like Seabiscuit. I'm telling you, this horse is live. The number 5. First of all, the 5-hole green is always muddy. That number 1. So now we have to see. Now we have to see the silks. What color silks is the jockey wearing? What is Jose Ortiz wearing? I'm gonna make this horse live. I'm gonna tell you. Catalytic down the stretch. I'll will it home. I'm telling you.
You'll will it home, Joe. You'll will it home.
For the superfecta, we're going to take down Churchill Downs on Saturday afternoon.
You got to play a couple horses in the Oaks on Friday, too. You got to get in on the Oaks on Friday.
I don't dabble in. And you see these secondary events. No, Carver. No, this is an elevated
race, the Oaks. Oaks is a big race.
This is an elevated event for me. The Derby is where I make my noise. I have some big hits. Mike Smith and Giacomo.
It's an elevated event? Is that what it is? It's an elevated event?
Mike Smith and Giacomo.
It's a triple crown
2 years ago, I hit the Derby. I forgot. Was it last year?
It's the Super Bowl of horse racing. It's as elevated as it gets. It's an elevated event. It's number 1.
That's like the FCS playoffs. No way. The big time is the Kentucky Derby. Let me just say this. I think I hit either last year, go back to the X and look at the thread. I hit the Derby, I think 2 years ago or last year.
I said it.
And Giacomo was on my resume too. And I'm throwing down Catalytic. Catalytic is my call. I don't care what any horse lover says. I'm the equestrian on the show. I tell you what, Catalytic wins. I'll ride the mechanical bull in Vegas.
Here we go, Joe. Let me finish the NBA from last night. The Cavs and the Magic played a real good game. I mean, nobody saw it. They were so interested with the Knicks and the Sixers. But 104-103, the Cavs now take a 3-2 series lead in this one. Magic had the ball, Joe, down 1 in the final seconds. Evan Mobley said absolutely not on NBA TV.
Crossover, left wing, drive to the hole, block by Mobley. What a block! With 3.2 to go, Evan Mobley, one of the best in the world.
Joe, how about that? How about Gus getting involved with the NBA there on NBA TV? Got a little Gus action in the offseason from college football.
Yeah, stick to your lane, Gus. Stick to the Big Ten.
You got to bring everyone down. You just always have to bring everyone down.
No, I pump up the guys that do it right. Kevin Harlan can get gassed up for 2 ants playing basketball. You know that. Kevin Harlan on a late night drive in the Rocky Mountains, let me tell you, can get you gassed up. What is Wagner doing, though? I was right on that game, by the way. I told you Cleveland would win and Orlando would cover the 4.5. You thought they'd get blown out. They showed some juice. Got to
Well,
convert.
what I
Now
said
we
to
need
you
them
was
to win Game 6.
what I said to you was that the series was full of blowouts. It had been a series where there had been no close games at all in the series. I don't think I ever particularly said to you who I thought was going to win. I think I said to you I'm rooting for Orlando, but all the games have been blowouts. It's very tough, and I liked the under, which of course did not come through, Joe, with the 207 that it got to. So that was the unfortunate part for me. They will go back to Orlando for a Game 6. Here is where you're looking right now. Plus 325 if you think the Magic can win the last two games. And the Cavs are minus 400. I do think they'll play a seventh game, though, in Cleveland, Joe. I hope
you're right. I hope you're right, because you and I have a parlay going with the Pacers to win 4-2. We have Orlando plus a game and a half and the Mavericks to win their series. So let's hope that they step up. It's just they play their hearts out. They cover the first half line. Then they're right in striking distance. They had the lead, I believe, 85-84 with about 5 minutes left. And then they had the ball down 2, and Wagner was gutless because he was afraid to take it to the tin. He wanted to go for the layup. Where's the body? Take it to Mobley and get the N1, and then you shoot the free throw. Terrible shot selection. So now we just have to hope that they don't implode. Got to win Game 6.
That is what we have to hope. Meanwhile, in the last game of the night, this was a dog Tuesday night for you. The Bucks won outright against the Pacers, which is honestly, Joe, a nice job by them and an awful job by Indiana when you consider what the Bucks basically brought the skeleton crew out. No Giannis, no Dame time. Portis actually played the whole game. Shows you what a difference it would have been if maybe he didn't get thrown out 5 minutes into Game 4. 115-92. This is now 3-2 Indiana. Bobby Portis getting lots of buckets in the fourth on TNT.
Beverly feeds Portis at the high post. Here he is again, going to work against Siakam. Bobby Portis. Timeout, so they can't challenge. What it is. That's a tough shot, Portis. Deep in the corner.
Hey, Bobby. Bobby. There you go, Joe. How about Doc real fast? Because you love Doc. And Doc was going to have a lot of excuses when they don't win the series. I still don't think they're going to win the series, Joe. But Doc was very proud of the Bucks' effort last night, getting this to a Game 6 in Indiana.
We had a very lively film session today. It was very positive, but it was very lively.
You actually coached the one, Stock?
Like
you actually had a coach?
In the film and in our walkthrough. I didn't know we were going to win on that. You never know as a coach, you know. But I did walk off the floor and I said, we're coming tonight. And I told our coaches that. I said, I don't know if we're going to win, but we're coming to play and win tonight. You can feel it. You can feel in the preparation how locked in. That was not a team walking through a walkthrough thinking this was it. That's a team thinking they can win. And it showed.
It's nice, Joe, that he, because they didn't show up in Indiana in Games 3 and 4. So it's nice that he thought they were ready to play last night.
Yeah,
because they weren't ready to play the 2 games before that.
Dang, Greg Gutless. Thanks. You're wearing your Ferragamo shoes and you're strolling out there catching 7 or 8 million, and you drove this team right into the sand with stars like Giannis and Dame time, potential Hall of Famers.
Team's hurt. Guys aren't even playing. What do you want them to do? You want to have Brooke Lopez and what happened to Brooke Lopez last night, Joe? What happened to him? Did he take any threes in that game?
He did. He was like, he's gutless too. I could see Doc with the wood burning in the corner of the room. I actually have to coach tonight. I don't know what I'm doing. I actually have to draw up some plays.
We will come back. I'm going to have Cam next. We're going to do more of the Golf Wednesday. And then, Joe, we got to talk about the 2 games tonight. Miami and Boston and Dallas and the Clippers. As I mentioned earlier, Luka already not feeling well, wouldn't play if it was a regular season game. All of the side stories are starting to emerge for Luka tonight in Los Angeles against the Clippers. All right, Ferrall Coast to Coast on a Wednesday. We're back next.
to the 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The Early Line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
This sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Good to have you with us. Of course, it is a Golf Wednesday on C2C, and we always get you ready for this week's PGA Tour event with the Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, back here with me. We missed the Zurich last week. I mean, I didn't miss it, Cam. I had Rory and the Irish Bear. You know that I wasn't gonna not play the Irish guys at the Zurich Classic. So sometimes the chalk comes through for you, Cam. That's all I can say. Last week at the Zurich. Sometimes
winners are winners. I hear Joe giving you tips on cyber currencies. Anyway, just bet Rory and Lowry when the Irishmen get together. That's usually a good thing. The Guinness will be poured and Carver will be paid. I will say this, as Prime Minister, the Canadian team's close, but kind of like our dollar, just a little bit short. Right, Carver? Just a little bit short.
Unfortunately, like you say, close but no cigar. And man, they hammered Hadwin and Taylor down. I mean, they went from 40 to 30 to 25 to 18. I mean, everybody was smashing Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin the entire week. But it is the Irish Bear and Rory McIlroy who get the win. Now, Cam, we are off to our next, I guess you want to call it kind of an off week until we really ramp up again next week with the Wells Fargo and then the PGA Championship. And that is the Byron Nelson, now I guess part of the CJ Cup at TPC Craig Ranch, just north of Dallas. That is where we are this week. Jason Day is our defending champion. He won last year. KH Lee won back-to-back the 2 years before that. And as we look at the chalkboard here, Cam, which me and you always like to do, Spieth's here because he can't miss a tournament in Texas. He always feels obligated to play, even though he probably shouldn't be playing with how he's looked recently, and he should be resting up. And then Siwoo Kim, you have who else? You got Alex Noren near the top. Day, who's the defending champion, is up there. Sungjae Im, Ben An, Minwoo Lee. This is not exactly the star-studded event that we've seen in some of these weeks, Cam.
No, it's a B tournament, Carver, but if we hit a winner, it'll be an A tournament. You hit one last week, and let's keep it going again. I know Jordan Spieth is a guy that plays well in Texas, but Carver, we talked about this. You mentioned it to me even, and Keith Stewart mentioned it to you. There's got to be something wrong with his game. I can't bet him at that price. Maybe for a top 10 or 20, but you know what? There's other guys on the list. I did take one guy who I crossed off my list, but I bet him at a good number, but he's not a friend of ours anymore, Hoagie Sandwich. He really let us down. So, no, that's the
We're
thing.
done with him.
You know what I like about you and Gabe?
We're done with him.
Once a guy does you wrong, you're done. But me, like a loser, my lover keeps on coming back. Hey, I met a guy. Hey,
Finished.
Don't worry, baby. I love you. That's like me and Hoagie Sandwich. I can't get off
I
it.
will never forget what that guy did to us at the RBC on that Sunday afternoon. I will never forget what he did there. All right, Cam, let's do it. Here's my outrights for the Byron Nelson coming up this week. I'm going to go with Ben Hahn at 25-1. A little bit of a birdie fest. He kind of almost won one of those earlier this year at the Century. Maybe he could pay us back. Min-Woo Lee at 25-1. I got Tom Kim at 40. I've seen him down to 25, Cam, so that was a little Monday morning 7 a.m. pickup for me. Seamus Power at 50. Luck of the Irish last week. Maybe some luck of the Irish this week as well. Jake Afternoon Knapp. You know, there's not a lot of guys in this field, Cam, who have won recently. Knapp has won this year with a similar type of field. So I like that price at 80-1 to have Jake Knapp involved. And CT Pots and Pans has played great at this course in the past. He's got some top 5s and top 10s, and I got him 110. He's down to 80. That was another Monday morning 7 a.m. pickup for me.
Well, you did well with the price. We got a couple of the same guys, Carver. I'm going to roll it out. I'm going to take Alex Noren, probably a popular pick there. I got 28. He's been bet down to 25. Tom Kim, I got 35 early. You got it. You woke up a couple hours earlier than me. I like Mackenzie Hughes, my one Canadian content. This is the type of tournament he'll definitely be in the mix at 48-1. I know a couple other guys at the network, the golf guys, like him too. KH Lee, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, like Meatloaf said. Why not again? This guy loves the tournament. And I got to tell you, Carver, Garrick Higgo is actually playing better golf at 110-1. He's a name that popped up to me. And CT Pots and Pans, as you said, he should be like 60-1, not 110. It's a value play right there. Pots and Pans, let's turn it into diamonds and bills. Let's go.
Mac Hughes, that was who Smiley Kaufman gave us yesterday here on Coast to Coast. He liked Mackenzie Hughes this week for his one-and-done pick. Top 10s, 20s, and 40s for me. You mentioned Spieth. Fine. Top 10 at plus 190, Cam. I'll have some kind of equity in him this week. I do have Mac Hughes in there at a top 10 at plus 400. Mark Hubbard, put the Hubbard in the cupboard at a top 20 at plus 240. He's been playing well. How about Skins here, Cam? Two top 10s. Now, wait a second. He's got 2 top 10s in the last 6 weeks, or about 6 weeks, 2 months.
Yep.
And he's still being booked at 171 and plus 600 for a top 20. Like, he's in better form than most of the other guys, the hacks that are in this tournament. So give me him. Big Bo Hossler at top 40 at plus 110, and Ryan Crazy like a fox at a top 40 at plus 130.
I like your Siwoo Kim pick. I'm going to take him for a top 10 at plus 160. Min-Woo Lee almost 3-1. You got to do it. Jagerbomb. He's a wicked player. You're going to give me plus 150 for a top 20. Hoagie Sandwich is there. Why not again? Don't screw me, Tom. You better show up. 185. What's in the cupboard? Mark Hubbard plus 260. And Max Gracerman, top 40 plus 160. Watch out for the gray man. He's been playing good golf. Give me some first round leaders, Carver. Let's roll.
Here we go. We're going to put the Hubbard in the cupboard again, 65-1 for the first-round leader bombs. Aaron Rye is a first-round leader staple at 70-1. Garrick Higgo. Hello, Higgo. 80-1 for Higgo this week. There's CT Pots and Pans at 80-1 again. Justin Suh at 100-1. Johnny Roll the Dice with Vegas, baby, at 101. And the Smother Man is back, Cam, at 120-1 for first-round leader this week. Let's see if he can get us across the line. I got like a 30 seconds. You got live picks too. Me and Brady did live picks before. Who do you like at live, Cam?
Cam Smith at 15-1. You got questions? I got Abraham Answer at 25. Mito Pereira at 50. And Harold Varner, HV385. The network has live golf Thursday night, 11 Eastern. Friday night, 11 Eastern. So, hey, we got Sports Rage, then you got live golf. Let's bet. Let's go.
Cam, I'm on Varner as well for the big bomb this week at Live. Let's go. We're reading the same mail out in Singapore this week. We absolutely love it. So we have PGA at Byron Nelson. Live is in Singapore. A Golf Wednesday on Coast to Coast. Cam Stewart, the Prime Minister. We're back after this.
the 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
this
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back. Ferrall, coast to coast. You're on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have you with us. All right, Joe. 2 games tonight in the NBA playoffs. We'll start in Boston, where the Heat and the Celtics, Heat looking to stay alive. This is 3-1 Celtics, and this is now crossed, Joe, the 2-touchdown barrier. 14.5 for the Celtics tonight, a 200.5. That's 200.5 for the total.
Yeah, I lean to the Heat to at least cover. I don't love it, but I like the undercover. Let's go if they lose, maybe they lose 173. And I am on Hero for three threes and 20 points tonight. Hey, Hero.
Well, I mean, if Hero's going to have 3 threes and 20 points, Joe, you're probably thinking they're going to cover to 14.5. If Hero's going to have a good night, you'd like to think.
You got the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is Hero hits 3 threes, 20 points, and they lose 100 to 90. Worst scenario is they lose 100 to 73, and you still get the under.
Okay, I'm just going to play the under, Joe. That's it for me. I'm just going to go with the under.
Okay, Hero.
I'm not going to get involved in anything else. I've generally, Joe, not been involved in this series just because I don't like I just don't like playing it. Like, I know the Celtics are going to win. I don't feel like the Heat have enough of their weapons to really compete. The series I have no interest in it, Joe, to be quite honest.
That's it.
It just is what it is. Most bet player props, Al Horford, over 20.5 points, rebounds, assists. Horford over 2.5 assists. What is the deal with Al Horford? We're going to the window with Al. Jaylen Brown over 2.5 assists. Caleb Martin under 6.5 assists and rebounds, and Derek White under 4.5 bounds for tonight.
I'm on Hero. I'm in Porzingis, right?
He's going to get more gas because of Porzingis.
He's going to get more burn. I don't
care.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm going with Bam tonight. Bam for bounds. 20, maybe 16 bounds for Bam, and 3 threes for Hey Hero. Hey Hero.
Hey Hero. Hey Hero. I'm much more interested in the late game, Joe, which is, of course, Game 5 in Los Angeles at the Crypto between the Mavericks and the Clippers. This series is tied 2 games apiece. Mavs minus 2.5, the road favorite. No Kawhi. He's out. I've already told you a couple times about Luka at the shoot-around a couple hours ago. I'm sick. Wouldn't be playing if it was a regular season game. I don't feel well. 208.5 is the total. I don't know what to buy in with the Luka stuff, Joe. Is this is he letting it on? Is he playing it up for tonight when he has 38, 14, and 10? Is he gonna? Then they could all say what an unbelievable performance.
Can you stop? You really
by Luka. Is that what he's setting us up for?
You loved Dallas with me at the start of the series.
I did,
I'm not. All right, you're off the horse. I'm still on it. I'm riding hot.
How about we go to Kyrie?
No, I am on Kyrie. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Luka, stop keep crying. We don't need you. Just give us assists. Dish the ball to Kyrie. Kyrie for 35. Kyrie for 4 threes. And I'm laying the 3 because I told Matthias, our great producer, last night, and I'll say it again to Mafia right now. You listening, Maf? LA, no shot to win tonight. No shot. Double-digit win. They blow them out of the arena tonight. Blow them out of the Crypto. Double digits. No shot for the Clips.
Kyrie for 5 threes is plus 220. I kind of like Kyrie for 5 threes tonight. That's where I'm kind of leaning. The most bet player props for this one, Joe, tonight.
Yeah.
Give me a moment here. Luka over 33.5.
Yeah.
Westbrook over 15.5 points, rebounds, assists. Lively under 7.5. Harden under 3.5 threes. And Kyrie over 25.5 points. The most bet player props for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Kyrie, we could get there. I think Kyrie will get there. I don't know about Luka. I think Luka's going to play the stick. 35. Live a little. Open up the belt buckle.
You want to go to 35?
35.
Plus 425 for Kyrie to get 35.
There you go. Now you're living. A little Dom Perignon in your life. Come on.
You could get me in on Kyrie. I don't want anything to do with Luka. I don't know if he's playing possum or what he's doing tonight. What do you want, a little Cristal? If he was so sick, then why is he at the shoot-around telling everybody he's so sick? Why wouldn't he stay at the hotel in bed? Why wouldn't he go and do that? Coast to Coast. We're back on the grid right after this.
The 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
this
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
And we are back for Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here. BetMGM, they have got something outstanding for you. How about a new betting market for the NHL playoffs? You got to be kidding me. You can only get this at BetMGM. They have empty net goal markets for entire slates as well as specific games. Find them in the app under the NHL tab, then the props tab. You can find the specific game markets under each game along with the NHL props tab as well. So this is an outstanding market. We've seen empty nets almost every night. You saw Carolina again last night pick up the empty net. So try to get involved. 2 games tonight in the NHL. We love this. A new market from BetMGM. They are always taking care of business, especially on the ice. It is time, speaking of BetMGM, for the Lion's Share, brought to you by BetMGM. And Coach James Young is in the house with us, as always, as we get ready for 2 games tonight in the NBA playoffs. Before we get there, though, Coach, we go back to last night for a moment, and we go to the Garden, where the Knicks and the Sixers has been by far the most entertaining series in the first round of the NBA playoffs. There really hasn't been any blowouts in the series. Every game has been close, at least to the last 5 minutes. You've had 2 unbelievable finishes, Game 2 and Game 5 at the Garden. It's been a lot of fun, and now it's 3-2, Coach, going back to Philadelphia tomorrow night, 9 o'clock East tip, by the way, in Philadelphia tomorrow night. But, Coach, your thoughts on with the ball up 6 with 28 seconds to go. You can't lose that game.
Oh, Carver High. I thought it was over. I mean, and then all of a sudden, we just got Reggie Miller game, 1, 1995 all over again. And it was just, honestly, it was a comedy of errors by New York, kind of like what Philadelphia did in game number 2. What do you want to start with? You want to start with the fact that Mitchell Robinson is a big. You're taught. You don't block jump shots. I know he probably traveled. Go straight up. Make him make the shot.
Why is he out there? Why is he even out there?
Right. Or if you jump, you karate chop him down on the arms. Don't let the ball get to the rim. That's number 1. 2, Josh Hart, who had a great season except for game number 4. I think it was game number 4 at times. Misses the free throw. Then you have Deuce McBride, who's played fantastic basketball, not knowing the situation, not the foul. Then after all that, the Knicks go up 5 in overtime, and then they choke it up again. And here's where it gets tough. You're as great as Brunson has been in high leverage situations late in games. Look at his stats. Folks, Randall Ball is back, which means isolation, let him create. And this is the struggle that Jalen's having at the end of games. Now, listen, folks, he's been the best player in this series. But at the end of the game, the Knicks have to do a better job of running offense, false motion, whatever he is, and get him the ball in situations where he could be succeeding, not just one-on-one create a shot.
I think it was also tough last night, Coach, and honestly, Brunson looked, and I don't know how much this will affect clearly tomorrow night and going forward, he looked so out of gas at the end of that game. I mean, he just had nothing left. And I think he also got in a situation where there hasn't been a reliable second guy for him to give the ball to in those spots. I mean, DiVincenzo, as he hit 5 threes in the whole series, Coach, the way after how good a season that he had for the Knicks. Hart, as you mentioned, after hitting a bunch of threes in game 1, his shot has not been there for them. It doesn't feel like he trusts anyone else. And like you said, in those late game spots, he's just trying to do it all himself.
Yeah, and I think what happens is the folks, the second best player in the series for the Knicks has probably been OG, but it's come out. Or you could say it could be Deuce McBride. And that becomes an interesting take is, does Tibbs go to Deuce in the starting lineup? One thing that's happened pretty much all these games, Carver High, slow starts. And they seem to always get better with Juice when Deuce comes in the game. Do you see Tibbs adjust his starting lineup and go with the rookie? Now, here's the other thing is DiVincenzo's got to do something, or you got to scrap Alec Burks off the scrap heap, which he's banged up and he's hurt too, because they got to find a way to spell minutes. On the flip side, as great as, Embiid was in regards to a triple-double, Carver High, I think he's done. I mean, the guy basically did not come out the whole second half. He played 48 minutes. They dragged him to the finish line. And here's the thing. Maxey was fantastic with 46. I doubt he repeats this again. Tobias Harris showed up. I really do think Game 6 is going to be a Knicks closeout, because I just don't know what Embiid has left, let alone the fact that he only gets 1 day rest and they're playing tomorrow night.
I'll tell you this, though, Coach. It'll be a different atmosphere after what Embiid said about the fans on Sunday. They are going to be in there fired up with that game going back to Philadelphia tomorrow night.
I think the New York fans are still going to show up because they're going to pay. They're going to pay.
You can always get tickets. You can always get tickets. You can't, if they're willing to pay, you can't really stop them if they're willing to pay, that's for sure. No. Let's get to tonight, Coach. We've got 2 games here with, of course, one team looking to close out. That's the Celtics. Give me the picks and the props for the Heat and the C's tonight in Boston.
I'm going to go with the C's in the first half. Now, I heard Joe Lisi with this whole, they make, I'm liking the cover, but they lose 100-73, which makes no sense.
Very specific with what he's looking for. And that's with Hero to get 5 3. That's with Hero to get 3 threes and 20 points. Yeah. Don't forget that specific numbers in there.
I don't know. He's our friend. I have no idea what he's saying. But I'm going to take the Celtics in the first half minus 8.5. I think they jumped this game early. As great as Derek White was, some of the other guys weren't. They play better. They jump out to a big lead. Give me the C's in the first half.
What do you got the player props for that game?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go to Derek White. He did a great job of scoring, 38 points. So where am I going? I'm going to go over 3.5 assists. I'm going to go the other way now. Okay. I know it's minus 165. It's a lot of juice. Over 10 of the last 15 games, 4 out of 6. They cover him. Other guys get loose. Derek White over 3.5 assists tonight. Also,
what about you got Hauser too? Yes.
Oh, yeah. I love me some Sam Hauser in the corner 3. Over 1.5 made threes. This is a lot of juice again. I think this could be a blowout. So what do I get? More Hauser time. Remember, game number 1, Hauser with those 4 threes in the first half. Over 11 in the last 15 games. Sam Hauser gets it done tonight.
Big game 5 in Los Angeles, Coach. Series tied 2-2. Mavericks and the Clippers. Luka is so sick today that he went to shoot around to tell the reporters how sick he is for tonight's game. What do you think?
Smoke, screen. Give me the Mavericks on the money line tonight. Now, it's minus 155. If you want to turn around and get it at minus 3.5, I won't be mad at you. Either way, I like Dallas in this game tonight. I think Kawhi, I know he's not playing. I expect a better effort. Terrible effort in game number 4. And I'm going to go on the flip side. Kyrie went scoring. Crazy. I think Luka is a smokescreen. He shoots better. So I'm going to go Kyrie over 4.5 assists tonight. Over 8 of the last 15 games. 5 or more assists the last 2 games. I think Luka gets busy. He was terrible from 3. Kyrie becomes a little bit more of a facilitator. Kyrie over 4.5 assists tonight.
I can see it now, Coach. 38, 14, and 10 from Luka. What a performance. Sick.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been playing. He wouldn't have played if it was a regular season game. He comes out here tonight. Unbelievable. I think Kyrie has a great game tonight. I think... And look, Harden's played really well, Coach. I think that's something that they're going to have to control. Harden has stepped up in this series. We like to give Harden a hard time a lot, but he has played well for the Clippers, especially with Kawhi not being there. I still think this goes 7, Coach, one way or the other. Maybe you're right. Dallas wins tonight. They'll probably close it out at home if they do. But I feel like we get a 7th game between these 2 teams at some point. Coach, enjoy the games tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow on the Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM. Coach James Young in the house. Ferrall, coast to coast on a Wednesday. We will come back. We have a lot more to do on the grid right after this.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
To the 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
So what are your impressions of Valhalla, just for folks that have not seen it on TV or didn't watch the Ryder Cups or past majors? You know, they see a PGA maybe at a Southern Hills, Boone, or a Bet Page, or, whatever it might be, and they're like, Valhalla and Louisville, Kentucky, but like, look at the tournaments produced, and it's insane. Yeah. It really has, and obviously, of course, I'm a bias toward it.
Only on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily at plus money get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back. Ferrall Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us. Davis Maddock is with us every day here on C2C. Of course, Fantasy Sports Today, Saturday mornings here on the grid. Davis is with us. Of course, he's going to participate in Golf Wednesdays as well, which we will get to close out. We love Golf Wednesdays on C2C. But, Davis, I'm going to start here because me and Coach were just talking about this. And me and Joe were earlier in the hour. And that's, of course, Game 5 tonight in L.A., Mavericks and the Clippers. No Kawhi for the Clips. Maybe I'm making too big a deal about it, but I just find it really strange that Luka's so sick that he had to go to the shoot-around to tell reporters how sick he is tonight and that he wouldn't be playing if it was a regular season game. If he was that sick, Davis, why wouldn't he skip shoot-around and be at the hotel, resting up to play tonight? Like, why do we have to, if we're that sick, go and tell everybody that we're that sick? I think this is a total possum play by Luka, and he's probably going to have like almost 40-point night with a triple-double.
No, I actually think you make a great point. I also thought that was weird. I was like, because if Luka was sick, I mean, like Luka's right. I mean, if he was sick in the regular season, that he's not going to shoot around. No one's going to hear from him. He's at home, chicken noodle soup, lots of fluids. He probably doesn't feel good. I don't know, woke up with a scratch in his throat. Maybe he is running a temperature. But this is not Austin Matthews, brother. He's not he's showing up and playing in this game, and he's going to be good because Luka's one of the best players in the NBA. Pretty clearly, no one who wagers money on professional sports thinks it's a big concern because the line is held right there all day. And this one feels to me like one of the Mavericks games. Like this is the one that they take. They gave up that 31-point lead in Game 4. Crazy stuff there. But at Game 5, go look at James Harden historically. Game 5's not so great. Game 6 is also not so great. They're going to need him in Game 6. Doesn't it? It just feels like this one's going 7, though. Like, I don't know. Just this to me of all the first rounds. And Knicks 76ers might go 7 too. But this particular series feels like a 7-game series.
And it feels like nobody will actually see a game between the Cavs and the Magic until they get to a 7th game. We won't know they have a 7th game until they get there. But nobody's watched a game yet between the Cavs and the Magic, but they will when they actually play that 7th game back in Cleveland. The Cubs and the Mets are playing the 3rd game of a 4-game series tonight at Citi Field. They have split the first 2. Cubbies are road favorites tonight, though, Davis, and that's because they have Imanaga on the mound tonight.
Yep. Look, you have Imanaga on the mound. I am going to bet on this guy until he gives me a reason not to. And look, he might give me a reason not to tonight. Maybe it'll happen next week. He's striking out 26% of the dudes he's facing. He's had 3 walks, period, in 28 innings. That's starting over 5 games. No one is lining the ball up on him. 16% live drive rate. And I'm not going to pretend like I am a scout who can watch Imanaga pitch and be like, oh, he's doing this so well, he's doing that so well. But what's pretty clear is that he can throw multiple pitches for strikes. That's just a hard thing to deal with. If you can throw the off-speed stuff for strikes in Major League Baseball right now, you're just going to be ahead of hitters in most at-bats, and if you can get ahead, you're going to win. So all I needed to see tonight was Imanaga, and I was riding that take.
All that I've seen so far from the Baltimore Orioles the last couple nights, Davis, is that they are a lot better than the New York Yankees because they've won the first 2 games of that 4-game series, and they've won them in like the type of games you're going to play in the playoffs, right? Low-scoring, well-pitched games. The Orioles have been able to beat the Yankees. And then tonight, they're going to have Corbin Burns going against Louis Hill. This could be the spot where the Oriole bats show up along with some great pitching.
Yeah, I mean, look, they haven't even had to score any runs. They scored 6 runs in the first 2 games combined. No sweat, no problem. Without their best pitcher taking them out, I guess we did just learn Grayson Rodriguez is going on the 15-day IL, so we'll see what ends up happening there. But, yeah, I mean, just like these Orioles lines, I feel like they've been the worst set lines all year. I mean, the first 2 weeks of the season, we were getting them as like road dogs to the Los Angeles Angels and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just going to keep buying the Orioles at minus 150 type price, especially with Burns on the mound. This is probably my favorite play on the board for tonight in baseball.
Yeah, I could see it. The Yankees haven't been able to hit these guys the last 2 days. They're going to hit Burns tonight. It just doesn't add up to me. Run line probably the right way to go. I like it, Davis. Next, Golf Wednesdays. You always love to participate with us here. And you are, of course, going around the world, which we love on Golf Wednesdays. We will start here in the States at TPC Craig Ranch for the CJ Cup. Byron Nelson, who do you have for me?
All right, we are going to start off with at the CJ Cup. We are going to go one Mr. Adam Schenk. He has gained strokes off the tee in 10 consecutive events. He has gained strokes relative to the field in over 75% of his events over the last year. Actually, he's played pretty well at a couple of the major championships. T12 at the Masters, pretty surprising there. Feels like a weak field event is a good spot for him to get his first win.
Next, we will go to the DP World Tour, who's in China this week, Davis.
We are, and I've seen this one. This is a pretty popular play. This is what we would call a little bit of a community play. We are going to go with the Frenchman, Alexander Levy. He has been playing very well on the DP World Tour, which honestly, it's kind of hard to say. What does playing very well on the DP World Tour even mean these days? But his results, last 5 tournaments, 7th, 4th, 2nd, 9th, 8th. I mean, he just has been absolutely crushing it. And right now he's outside of the top 5. This is, I suppose, one of the stronger field DP World Tour events if you look at the cumulative world rankings. But that is not saying a lot.
No, it is not. And finally, staying in the Far East, we go to Singapore. That is where Liv is this week. Me and Brady were talking about this earlier. In fact, Brady has your guy on his card as well.
So this is where I'm at with the Liv Tour. Rahm does not seem to care. Just does not seem particularly to care that much about these events. Who can blame him? I don't blame him. But it means that the other guys at the top of the board are just going to be underpriced. I'm taking the big beefy boy, Bryson DeChambeau.
I agree with you. He hasn't cared, but we were also saying before, he's been in the top 10 every week. Eventually, he's going to win one. Like one of these Liv events, Rahm is going to win just because he's so much better than everyone else,
good?
Really. As long as he's showing up and wants to play. Davis, we'll see you tomorrow. Davis Maddock, Coast to Coast. We're back after this.
to the 2024 Stanley Cup odds. The Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The Early Line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
This sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Ferrall, coast to coast, here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us. All right, Joe, how about a little hockey here for the Stanley Cup playoffs? Joe has been very involved so far, which we are very proud of him for. He always gets involved when it becomes playoff time for the hockey. So last night, Joe, let's do that first. We have 2 games tonight that we are going to get to, but we had 4 teams facing elimination last night. I thought 2 would get through. 2 did get through, not the 2 that I thought. I thought the Leafs were on the deck, Joe. I did not think that they were going to have the kind of effort that they had last night in Boston, especially with Matthews not playing. 1-1 game, into overtime we go, where Matthew Nye's playing the hero on ESPN. We will get no Matthew there. So either way, Joe, I'll tell you that Matthew did get that overtime winner. In fact, though, who made the big play on that goal for Toronto, Joe, was actually John Tavares. He made the big play driving to the net, and he was able to go and get that done. So a nice job there for them. Toronto now goes back home, where I think Gabe told me earlier, Joe, I think they've lost. It's either 9 in a row or 9 out of 10 at home in the playoffs. They have been awful on their home ice in these situations. Bruins, are they going to start to get maybe a little tight because they were up 3-1 last year against Florida and gave it up? -4 Bills for the Bruins, plus 320 for the Leafs in the series. They'll play game 6 tomorrow night.
See, this is the situation when you tell me those stats, like with Toronto's home ice, I actually want to take a shot now on the Maple Leafs. And I'm a big backer of Boston, big picture, 12-1 to win the Cup. So this is tough. You know, I still think Boston wins, but I think I might take a shot and take the Leafs. Is Matthews playing in Game 6?
Now, that has not been made official. I would find it very hard to believe that he wouldn't, but I have seen stranger things, Joe, that's for sure. So we're not sure. I'm thinking he would be out there. He missed last night, of course. They will play tomorrow night in Toronto. And like we've talked about this, Joe, that'd be a lot of pressure going back home for Boston after being up 3-1 and what happened to them last year. Carolina did not have a problem with the Islanders. In fact, Joe, they jumped out fairly quick, 2-0, 4 minutes into the game. Islanders were able to crawl back and get this game to 3-3 going into the third period. But just like in Game 2, Joe, where the Hurricanes scored 2 goals in 10 seconds to win that game, well, 2 goals in 8 seconds last night to win this one on TBS.
But there's no way they'd call that a trip, right? It'd be interesting.
I think you have to, if it's a trip. Shea shot here is blocked. There's the shot, they score! Puck bounced right to Drury. He beats Varlamov, and it's 4-3 Carolina.
I just saw Patrick Waugh there. You can't believe it. And they've had a couple bounces of the Carolina Hurricanes here tonight, and this one can't get any better for the Hurricanes. The puck's on the glass. Usually the goaltender stays in that scenario. As Varlamov goes behind, it's a perfect bounce for the Hurricanes, right to the blue paint.
There you go. 2 goals in the span of 8 seconds for Carolina, Joe, as they get that done. They were some weird bounces, as they were talking about there. I don't care, Joe. Carolina was better. They're a better team than the Islanders. You could talk about playing hard and bad bounces and all that nonsense you want. Go get better. Get better players. How about that? Actually be able to compete with the other teams. So I'm not in for moral victories today, Joe, out on Long Island. I'll tell you that. There's no moral victories for me.
No, well, I mean, Carver, that was just unbelievable. They got kicked in the chops. What do you want? What do you want from me?
Well, look, I get what he's saying. The puck took a stupid bounce off the boards and ends up in front of the net with no goalie in it.
Can I just tell you something, though? It wasn't that game. It was when the game they were up 3-0 and lost 5-3.
The 3-0 game. Well, they got the problem in that game was, when that game got to 3-0, Carolina absolutely swarmed them for the next 30 minutes. They had like 100 shots on goal in the last 30 minutes of that game. So you're right. That was the point where the series was lost for the Islanders because they could have got out of Carolina 1-1. Yes, go ahead.
Quickly. Is Carolina that good, or are they just a product of the Islanders being
Look, Carolina's been a very good team the last few years. They are in no means, as far as I'm concerned, the unquestioned favorite to win the Stanley Cup. I think the Rangers are going to beat them, Joe. In fact, I will give you those numbers when we come back, as that'll be the second round matchup. Coast to coast on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe for Scotty. Hour 3 next on the Grid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
For the 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
So what are your impressions of Valhalla, just for folks that have not seen it on TV or didn't watch the Ryder Cups or past majors? They see a PGA maybe at a Southern Hills or a Bet Page or, whatever it may be, and they're like, Valhalla and Louisville, Kentucky, but look at the tournaments produced, and it's insane. It really has, and obviously, of course, I'm a bias toward it.
Only on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily plus money get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.